It is 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles, Thursday, June 27th, AD 2024. And it's going to have a fun show today, I think, guys. I think I will talk about that, the attack on children. The attack on children. And it's not just by the straights. What a mess. So I'll talk a little bit about that, I suppose. You know, I had Krishan the Dawn on last week. Pretty interesting research he did in order to expose the agenda. Terrible, the gay agenda. Not good. I'm live on multiple platforms, guys. I will take your calls and your super chats. There were some super chats. There's one from Popcorn's Thump Cake. I always like his. About Azzmador. And I was thinking about the Azzmador situation. Should he have just taken care of it? Should he have taken care of his law situation? You know how they abuse the law to abuse the whites, and he stayed out of it, stayed clear of it. He hid from it, I think. And I don't know I don't know the situation really, but my personal opinion is that it would have been better had he had the foresight to take care of that and possibly be alive today, rather than in hindsight us talking about maybe he should have gotten that taken care of so that he could, not have to be in hiding and not get the medical care that he may have needed. Oh, well. But I will talk about that. Nice. And other super chats going on. There's a debate tonight. Catch American Anchor, baby. I think he's going to stream concurrent with the debate. He's not necessarily going to stream the debate. He's going to stream concurrent with the debate. We shall see. And so he will be live later today. I don't think he's going to be live on his 12 noon Pacific time show. He's going to do the evening thing. 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern. So catch him. American Anchor, baby. And of course, Joel Friday at his regular time. Today is his sort of like a Friday because he doesn't stream live on Fridays. What a mess. So, anyway, guys, let's just get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I am wearing my JLP shirt. It's a JLP shirt. Not all, but most. Not all on the front. And you know, Teespring, they don't know how to print. It's like 2 fingers down from the top, the collar seam. What a mess. But I just wear it anyway. You probably didn't even notice, most of you. And then on this back it says, but most. And the Printify t-shirt designs that we have up on the J. Lee Peterson Printify store. Rebuildingtheman.com/stores. Go to the Printify link and you scroll down and you can see, I think not all is even bigger than this one. So check it out. Pretty cool. Nice haircut, Hake. Thanks. I cut it myself too. I didn't cut it shorter in the back. It's just naturally, whatever. I guess we won't go there. Let's talk about what's going on in the world. Oh, this is a little bit more pleasant. You know how JLP covered blacks swimming and not being in the Olympic team He covered it yesterday, I think it was, because this Georgetown law professor posted on X that, Jim Crow seems so long ago. I asked on my Brave browser and on my evil Google website, too, why aren't blacks represented in competitive swimming? Represented, communist buzzword. Oh, we need representation. Stupid. Don't say that too much, kids. Or even parents. Don't say that too much, parents. Representation, according to Brave Browser, is a crucial factor in encouraging people to participate in a sport. Elite swimmers like Cullen Jones, Leah Neal, and Simone Manuel are setting an incredible example and paving the way for black swimmers. At least they put lowercase b for black, not uppercase b. Shout out to Brave. But your values are dumb, AI. This is AI answers. Artificial intelligent. And it is artificial. Artificial means fake, by the way. Or it doesn't necessarily always mean fake, but anyway. Imitation intelligence. And that's all it is. It's an imitation. So, bum, 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 bum. Where did I lost my... I'm looking at stuff to see if there's anything interesting to read. Lack of encouragement and access is one of the bolded headers for why they don't... The study represent... Oh, no, and they capitalized the B later. AI is inconsistent. Black American children are much less likely to have a parent who knew how to swim, have friends who knew how or enjoyed swimming, or have a parent who encouraged them to learn to swim. You know, there was one black cross-country runner in my league, 1998, senior year. He was from Rosemead High School. His name might have been James, too. Forget. But over the summer, well, it wasn't even 1998, because he died in 1998. It was 1997 that he was, that we competed against him. Very talented, fast cross-country runner, 3 miles. But you know what happened to him? He drowned. He drowned. Like he was at a summer camp or something, and he drowned over the summer, going into senior year. Isn't that crazy? I knew another black when I was a little kid. I want to say it was second grade. I was 7 years old. I want to say it was second grade. And because that's when I learned the word grief. Mrs. Cianfrini said grief. Clifton was his name. He was kind of a tall black kid. And we played what we called kickback. You get a ball, and you hold it in your hands, and then you kick it, drop the ball, kick it. We called it drop kick. I don't know. You guys call drop kick something else. But we would drop kick the ball way over to the other group of guys, and they would drop kick it back. We dropped the ball into our feet and kicked it in the air before it hit the ground, you know? And he would kick it the highest. Every time he would kick it, he would go, oh! Oh! You know, there's blacks. Oh, rambunctious. But tragedy, too, surrounded Clifton. His mother got hit by a train. Died. According to what we heard. And so we didn't see him anymore. And we learned the word grief. And because he had grief when his mother died, so presumed our teacher. I like that teacher too, by the way. How about running bases? We played, well, I'm not going to read the chat. So, grief. Rest in peace, Clifton's mother, and rest in peace to the one black in our league for cross country. Normally, blacks are they're at John Muir High School and they run fast. They do sprinting for track. They don't do cross country. Anyway, back to this story of this AI story on blacks and swimming. This is from far left extremist Google. Totally useless website, by the way. And Brave AI says it too. Historical context. Segregation. The construction of pools in the United States was marked by segregation, with many black Americans being denied access, communist buzzword, to municipal pools. That means city pools. Because this lack of access was a result of systemic racism and discrimination. Stupid. AI doesn't know what they're talking about. Just like the edumamificated people and the mainstream media people. Those are their sources, though. And the history books were written by the same type of degenerate liars, blind intellectuals, who write our mainstream media. That's why all these historical events, such as Charlottesville, which was the excuse that I think they were trying to clamp down hard on our resident historian, Azzmador, and January 6th, they're trying to call it an insurrection. Charlottesville was the Unite the Right rally. A bunch of whites and others protested. They had a right to protest. They were mostly peaceful. Some of them came ready to fight because they knew that Antifa and Black Lives Matter were very violent against them, so they came ready to fight. I don't advise coming ready to fight. I don't advise if you figure there's going to be a fight, don't come at all. But they had the right to be there, and the people didn't have a right to violate their rights, but they blamed the whites for it. Oh, it's a violent rally. It's a violent riot. The violence was mostly from the alt-left, as Trump rightly said, but this history is not written accurately. Trump was accurate with the history, in the immediate aftermath of that newsworthy event. But the textbook writers are not going to be honest like Trump was. Because the textbook writers are a bunch of lame, lying liberals. Anyway, I've made that point many times, but it's pretty interesting to me. Anyway, lack of encouragement, fear. Oh, this was funny. Many black parents are not teaching their children to swim, and this fear of drowning or a fear of injury is a major variable. Lack of exposure to swimming can perpetuate the cycle of underrepresentation in competitive swimming. Because they figure, it's best to stay away from the water so that way you don't drown. Blacks are somewhat risk averse in that sense with regard to water. Maybe not with regard to fighting with cops. They're not risk averse with regard to fighting with cops, are they? Some of them. Some of them are ridiculous. Alice Deering, according to far left extremist Google's AI overview, Alice Deering, first black, capital B, because they're kissing up ever since George Floyd, female swimmer to represent Britain at the Olympics, has spoken about the decades and decades of historical and cultural racism in the sport. They say that blacks sink too because they have higher bone density, so they're not as buoyant, and they're just slimmer, except when they're fatter. They're not, but they're leaner, I guess. So at least the athletic ones are like leaner, and so they sink more. But anyway. Some say swimming is a more common in white middle-class society. That black people's muscle density makes them less buoyant. Others note many black athletes have a physique well-suited for swimming, such as being tall and long-limbed. Well, are their hands and feet all big and webbed? Not webbed. Some people have webbed. Their webs go out here. You know, see how I have like a web between my fingers? It's not much of a web, though. It's like little. Some people have webbed, nasty. Shout out to the people with webbed fingers. It was hard to swim against the current of so many obstacles, says wgbh.org. Why are there so few black competitive swimmers? Maybe also they're just not interested in it. They rather do flashy stuff like basketball and football. Right? So that's the ridiculousness on from AI. Don't trust AI, guys. Don't trust it. I'm going to go live on IG. We'll see how long it lasts. What's up, IG crew, Instagram crew? I'm live on Facebook and Twitter, well, X. Shout out to Elon Musk. Based Elon Musk, am I right? That's one African American I can like. I can support. What's up, Bethany? Let me read a few super chats, guys. There were some that came in. Yesterday, Popcorn's Thump Keg donated a coffee. Thank you, man, as always. Or woman or AI. Writing question. What's the difference between running from the police physically, like I told you blacks do sometimes, all too commonly, and being an outlaw, as you called it the other day, in the case of A-Z-Z. You guys spell it all crazy. A-Z-Z-M-A-D-O-R. Azzmador. Get it right. Thank you. What's the difference? You said that blacks tend to run from the police. There is a tendency to run from the police or fight with the police or both. Just look at Walter Scott. It cost him his life. Right or wrong, whether the police was right or wrong for shooting him in the back. Afraid of jail, by the way. A lot of these blacks are like, I don't want to go to jail. And so they put their life and other people's lives at risk. Getting themselves killed, sometimes getting others killed or killing others. Not good. Is jail that bad? I hear that it's bad. And that may have been part of Azzmador's motivation. I don't know. I don't even really know the situation with Azzmador. I just keep on bringing it up as let's just call it a theoretical example, because since I don't know the story, I'm making it up. So this is a made-up example for discussion's sake. So maybe you can learn from this theoretical situation, and that Azzmador may be able to teach you from the grave. Because he did teach you guys from his mistakes. He made mistakes in life, as all people do. And he learned from those mistakes, and he had more wisdom to share with you guys. Isn't that great? Some people don't learn from their errors in life. You say blacks tend to run from the police, which you're against. Yeah, I'm against it. But in the case of someone being an outlaw, doesn't it just sound cool? An outlaw. You suggested that you weren't necessarily against that. Seems like a double standard in this sense. In both cases, you are evading apprehension by the justice system. Or we might call it an injustice system when it's going against the whites for being white and expressing their rights of freedom of speech. You don't have freedom of speech, whites. Stop it. Just like I told Artie Art from beautiful Ohio, our beautiful Black Hebrew Israelite tribe of Judah friend. You don't have the Second Amendment. Give it up. Not because I'm a communist or support communism, but effectively, they can violate your freedom of speech, they can violate your Second Amendment, and you can't do anything about it except make it even harder for yourself. Make your life even harder for yourself, which is what Azzmador seemed to have done, if I'm understanding his situation correctly, which is what these blacks do when they fight with cops or run from cops. They're making their lives harder, and they make their lives end earlier. Whether you are or feel like you are being apprehended unjustly, as Popcorn's Thumb Keg acknowledges, you get your day in court. That's how it works. Even if it's an unfair day in court. why are you against one but kind of loosey-goosey on the other? Honestly, I'm not against blacks running from the cops. I understand blacks running from the cops. I understand that they're insane. And it may have been insanity that Azzmador had this, you know how we have blind spots in our life and we just don't see what to do? He may not have seen what to do in that situation. Because for years he lived as an outlaw. I don't know. I just say that. He just seems familiar with like jail and criminals and fights and stuff like that. I have no idea of any crime that Azzmador has ever committed. I'm not really interested. And rest in peace to the blacks who've gotten themselves killed. For your own sake, handle it in an orderly way. We are civilized men. We are civilized men. You ever watch the movie The Fugitive? With that beta. I didn't know he was a beta at the time. Harrison Ford, Han Solo. The Fugitive, great movie. He ran. Oh, you run, you look guilty. Well, Hollywood, probably not Christian Hollywood, taught me that sometimes you run, you're innocent. Harrison Ford, I didn't kill my wife. Tommy Lee Jones, I don't care. And I understood Tommy Lee Jones. And I understood Harrison Ford. You know what I mean? Jelly bean? That's corny. Is that corny? Azzmador. Azzmador was a supposedly wise man who allegedly made a horrible decision that caused his own demise, says Tim Scott. Yeah, right. I mean, he had some wisdom, but he also had some blind spots, perhaps. This is all alleged, okay? And don't take umbrage. I'm not saying it to smear his name, you know? I'm not saying it to smear his name. I'm saying it that, like, I wish that I had the foresight to tell him, hey, why don't you just get that taken care of? It wasn't really my business, so maybe it's dumb thinking. But wouldn't it be nice that he'd be alive today? Oh, he spent some time in jail. Oh, they take all of his money, you know, try to sue him for something somebody else did. Like what they did to my competitor. Try to sue Alex Jones for all he got for something that other people did that aren't even really connected, can't even prove that they're connected to him. Can they even prove that anybody who harassed those so-called families from that liberal area where they had a liberal shoot up their school, can anybody connect the threats to Alex Jones? I don't think they can. I think they just have to say, oh, it's probably more likely than not that those people listen to Alex Jones. That's what lawsuits are. Slightly more likely than not. So we're going to sue him for $1 billion. What a mess. So I know it's unfair, but don't expect justice in this world, not even in America. You don't believe in the justice system. Some American you are. Well, most Americans know that the government is not to be trusted. That's why original Americans, wanted to limit the government. What a mess. But thank you, Popcorn Thumpcake. No, I agree with you that they both would have been wiser. Just deal with the situation, face it, whether justly or unjustly, and perhaps your life may go more smoothly for your own sake. Nice. Thank you, Popcorn Stumpcake. Hopefully that was satisfactory of a response. And on this topic, let me get to Daniel in Texas. He talked to me about this yesterday. Daniel in Texas, thank you for calling, man. How you doing?
I'm well, James. Once again, we don't know anything really about Azzmador's situation.
Exactly. Yep.
But I do think you're onto something that if you have some legal problems, you can. There are choices that you have aside from just avoiding it altogether. And one of those choices you can find a lawyer.
And there may be some lawyers there are some decent lawyers out there. I know that a lot of them, a lot of even like the half decent lawyers would hide from an unapologetic white man like Azzmador. But there might be some. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. You could find somebody who would take the case.
Yeah.
So you have that option. And then the medical thing, I kind of think is separate because guys we suffer for a long time without seeing a doctor.
True.
So that's kind of a different thing altogether.
Slightly, but if he literally thought he had a heart attack the other week.
Yeah. And
this is all total speculation, man. And if, because of his being in hiding, he didn't go see a doctor, there's something to that. And let's say he didn't go outside as much. Going outside is good for you. And I know that he was eating healthfully. He talked about eating beans and stuff like that. So, interesting, huh? There's like all kinds of complications of your life that diminish your life from not dealing with the situation as wisely as you might have had you had sense.
He was already in the system, and so it's a harder decision for him to make than it is for normal people that aren't in the system already.
Yeah, he had like prior issues or something.
Yeah. So
there's
that factor.
Yeah, and just like blacks, he may know what jail is like.
Yeah.
And worse than what the blacks have to deal with, he's an unapologetic white man, and there's zero sympathy for unapologetic white men in the justice system, among the people in the so-called justice system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And getting wrapped up in the system, it's like there's no way out. It kind of follows your life, and
right.
Once you're in it, it's almost impossible to get out of it, and it's a shadow that you have to live with until you die, essentially, because there's very little forgiveness in the hearts of Americans.
True.
They have a lock 'em up and throw away the key mentality.
Yeah.
And there's also revolutions kind of in the history of Americans. So there's this idea of you'll never take me alive, sort of thing.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of in the blood, perhaps. That spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the outlaws traditionally, many Americans, they didn't like police, right?
Yeah.
Like police were just as in Mexico. Mexico, they know police to be corrupt. And America, to a lesser extent, but still to an extent, especially now, there is corruption among even the government, and that includes the police too. Yeah.
Well, the police...
egos and all that.
Yeah, the police to somebody who's had overcome a hard life or had been through a hard life are largely useless to that person.
Right, because you just take care of yourself.
Exactly. And so the police are just as adversarial as any criminal.
Yeah.
And so, there's that kind of thing. But yeah, no, I think that there's something to be said about handling that. You have options. You don't have to spend your life as a fugitive. You don't have to live like a refugee, as Tom Petty would say.
The late, great Tom Petty, probably a liberal.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
And my point in bringing that up was not regret about Azzmador, but to relate to our own lives, because we're in situations that we don't need to be in. We make our lives more complicated than we need to because of other blindnesses. And I described a story that I was in, kind of like being a middleman for a car deal was one example. And it dawned on me at one point. I had the benefit of like an outside looking in moment. And I'm like, oh, because outside looking in, you're not emotionally attached or emotionally committed or feeling guilty or a false sense of obligation. Outside looking in, oh, I don't have to be in this situation. Just get out of this situation. And there was some unpleasantness to my getting out of that, but it was worth it. It was right. I knew it was right. And it was such a relief in that sense.
Yeah, you have to pay your way in life.
Yeah, definitely. But it's also, it's you feel free within and at peace within when you're doing it the sensible way.
Yeah. I know that when I was in the military, man, like there's all sorts of books that they can throw at you. And you just take it. Like you accept that you're in this situation.
Yeah.
It's beyond your control.
Yeah.
But you face it. You don't go AWOL, right?
That's right.
Face it.
That's true.
And didn't deal with it. But
and being in that situation, it's not as bad as what the imagination is. It's really not. You know how I was out of it. I was out sick, surgeries and stuff a couple of years back. And people might have looked on me and felt sorry for me, but I didn't feel sorry for myself. I was just dealing with it. And, you know, like I hardly went outside. And I didn't miss going outside because I couldn't. I didn't feel like it. And so I was fine with it. A lot of people there's no feeling sorry for people. They're not, you can't even imagine what they're going through. And it's not as bad as what is in some senses, it's not as bad as what you may think. And in some senses, it's worse. But like you said, you just deal with it as it comes. Deal with life as it comes.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be expensive, but that's what you have to do.
Yep.
To have some sort of inner peace.
That
you're not on the lam.
That's right. Cool, man.
All right, man. That's all I got.
All right. Good to hear from you, man. Take care.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Mark in Los Angeles, California, on the line. What is up, Mark? How you doing?
Very good, thanks. Thanks for taking the call.
Yeah.
My thoughts and my heart goes out to Azzmador and his family. Did he have a family? Do you know?
Yeah, I heard that his mother is the one who tipped off the news reporter from whose article I read about his passing. So I guess his parents survived him.
No children, no wife?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I called today is because I don't know if you got a look at the judge in the Texas case where the two illegals murdered, choked to death, and raped and left in a creek. The little white girl. The judge is who I wanted to talk about for a second. But before I get to her, I think you should think, and all the audience members should think, the terror that had to be in that little girl's heart while these two animals did what they did to her. She probably had to beg for her life. So we don't really know the extent of the evil of these monsters that did what they did to her. Now, getting to the judge, it's a female Hispanic judge. She looks like she's about 30 years old. How in the world she ever got to be a judge is beyond me. She was on TV yesterday being interviewed, as the judge for the upcoming case. And she was saying that the whole immigration problem is Trump's fault, that Biden tried to fix it with his amnesty, open borders proposition about a month ago or two, where Trump intervened and got the Republicans to shoot it down. She blamed Trump indirectly for those two monsters killing that little girl and raping her. So how are they going to get a fair trial? And how many judges are out there like her?
I am not familiar with this story, so I'm searching, but I don't see the name of the judge or anything.
Female Hispanic. It's in Texas. I didn't get her name, but you're familiar with the case, right?
A little bit, yeah. There were a couple of young men Hispanics, illegals, I guess, who
Yeah,
allegedly
Ecuadorian.
did this to a 12 or 13-year-old girl.
Yeah, they caught her. They showed it on TV.
Yeah.
She was coming out of a 7-Eleven, and they, approached her there. They showed how they took her, on film.
Nick says it's Judge Lina Hidalgo.
Yeah, that's her name. She's the devil.
Oh,
She's
Lord.
the devil.
Mildly attractive.
Yeah, she's all right. But
33 years old, born in 1991. Wow, it's like Joelle's girlfriend is like a judge now.
I don't know how she could have become a judge
Not really
in
judge.
such a short time. And if you listen to the way she speaks and what she says, she might as well be an Antifa member.
Wow.
She's pure evil, man.
According
And I
to
haven't
Mark in Los Angeles, because I haven't seen this interview that you're talking about.
Well, yeah, it was a sport thing. It wasn't very long.
Yeah.
But she focused in on Trump. So what I'm afraid of, she may find a way to let these guys out, regardless of how horrific what they did to the little girl was. These activists who aren't judges, they're basically activists in robes,
Yeah.
are not going to be fair to the white man, whether we're the victim or the suspect.
She's
like
pro.
in,
It looks
Azzmador
like
case.
she's based on Lina Hidalgo, Texas. Lina Hidalgo, Texas. Her ex profile, purportedly her ex profile. Today marks 2 years. This is what she posted a few days ago. Since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, abandoning nearly 50 years of precedent. Stupid. This led to extreme abortion bans here in Texas across the nation, putting pregnant women at risk and setting a precedent for curtailing rights. We're not done fighting. So she's pro-abortion.
She's a baby killer, and I would assume she's Catholic. Being that she's Hispanic, chances are
Don't
she's
know.
probably Catholic.
She calls herself
But
progressive. She's an Ironman triathlete and a proud immigrant. What an evil
I wonder
woman.
when she broke in. I wonder when she broke into our country.
And her Harris County judge, she's her official account is Harris Co. Judge, Co for county, on X, and it has a rainbow thing with black and brown in it, which indicates radical homosexual, LGBT, black and brown, Black Lives Matter stuff. In her profile, the badge, the seal of Harris County, state of Texas, that seal is colored in like rainbow colors. I'm looking at it right now. Crazy.
I would call it satanic.
Don't harass her, guys, but I'm pasting like the stuff in the, don't harass her unless it's Brandon M. Because he does it righteously. Crazy.
Or do you think she's going to try to let them guys go?
Oh, I have no idea what she may do. Yeah, I don't like to try to predict stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're in trouble when little creatures like that can sit in judgment over us. That's probably why Azzmador went to being a fugitive. But from what
I
you
understand.
said, it was a civil case.
I
don't
thought
put
it
you
was
in
a
jail
civil
for that.
case, but if you don't show up to court when you're summoned or whatever, they can issue a bench warrant. And I don't know, they called it a felony warrant. Another podcaster called it a felony warrant. So I don't know.
If you're getting sued and you don't show up, the other person normally gets a default judgment, meaning that they're suing you for 10 grand. You don't show up, you're responsible to pay it. I've never heard of a criminal warrant being issued for a civil case, but I don't know.
Yeah, so maybe it was something else going on that made it into a criminal warrant, because I heard it was a criminal warrant. I mean, a felony warrant. So, but again, I have no idea. I'm not even really that interested in his. It's already a moot case, a moot point.
Well, the point is, if you're a white man and you stand up for your race, they're going to find a way to throw you in jail or sue you.
Yeah, I mean,
you're-
same thing with the normies. They're going after normies now, like Trump supporters and normal conservatives and Christians and stuff. And they've been doing it a long time.
I would call Azzmador normal. I mean, from
No,
what I
no,
knew
but
of it.
yeah, I call him normal. I'm talking about people, because Azzmador knows stuff that's not well known in the mainstream because he's lived it, he's seen it, he's talked about it for a long time. So he's not like a normie. He knows stuff that's not known by the mainstream normal conservatives who don't know much.
You see, all the left really has are lawfare and censorship. You take away the lawfare, you take away the censorship, and they lose.
And violence. They also have violence, and they get prosecuted less for that violence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they've got the legal system on their side in many cases, and we're just supposed to keep quiet and let the murder of our children and our women go unabated. I know they caught them, but are they going to get a fair trial is the question now.
Yeah, and you know what? Historically, there was a lack of trust in fair trials in courts too. And according to what I've read, I read this one story about a lynching that took place where they pulled this black guy out of a court building, I assume that they didn't trust the stuff, and they were in a hurry to mete out revenge against this guy who was accused of something, maybe a rape or something. And they just tortured him and murdered him, in my opinion. But it was a lynching because they didn't trust the justice system, and it's maybe worse today.
Was that 100 years ago?
Yeah, like 100 years ago, maybe more.
Yeah, well, look at the Leo Frank case.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've heard about that.
He was not Negro; he was Jewish, but
right.
He was brought to justice by the Klan after he raped a little girl. Mary Fagan was her name.
Right.
And I don't know if they.
I don't think it. I disavow the sense that it was brought to justice because it's a murder. You know, it's out of order. I support going about it the right way as much as you can, which means take him to court and keeping the court honest. And if you are powerful enough to keep the court more honest, then you can get justice.
Well, are you ever going to expect a man like Judge Merchant in Trump's case to ever be fair? Or that black
No, I don't
judge
expect it.
in the DC
I do
case?
not expect it. But we're not.
No, they're evil.
But my
Right.
point is, like, we're not strong enough. We haven't been strong enough to fight to defend our country. We, being the generations of Americans, have allowed ourselves to be overrun.
Well, Trump's on the front line.
Yeah, definitely.
Fighting for us, but look at the opposition. He's got money. I send him money as much as I can.
Nice.
I hope you are too.
Yeah.
But we need to keep donating. Good. And basically, it's Trump, the people, versus the corrupt lawfare court system with judges like Chunkin is their name, Churkin in D.C. You got the clown judge that sued Trump in the E. Jean Carroll situation. You got Judge Merchant. I mean, these judges and prosecutors are all far left radicals. Did you see the black woman judge that they arrested, I think, a week or two ago in Georgia?
I think so. Yeah. I think we covered it. I forget. JLP covered it on his show.
But did you see her? Did you see her belligerent attitude toward the cop?
Toward the black cop? She's like, "Take me where you're gonna take me. I'm not gonna give you my name." All petty and sassy. And
see, but you see now is she part of the 0.5% of Negroes that are destroying America? I think the number's a lot higher than that. And chances are she didn't have a record. I don't think she could have had a record and become a judge. But she slipped through the cracks, and through affirmative action and DEI, she got her judgeship.
Yeah.
Then her true colors shown. And, now I heard that they suspended her and she can't become a judge for like another 7 years.
Nice.
And that's in Georgia, in Fulton County, where Fannie Willis is.
Right. Nice.
It's scary.
Well, I appreciate it, Mark. It's nice to hear from you, man. Thank you for the tip.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
You too. Bye. William from California on the line here. William, thank you for calling and holding. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing, Jimmy?
Doing fine. He called me Jimmy.
Mark, as usual, is on point.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, okay. This Fonnie Willis might be seeing over that case for that judge because I think they made her step down.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And, now, that makes me afraid, just like the case that they were talking about in Texas. I don't know where they're getting these judges that look like they're in middle school. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Never seen it before.
Yeah. It's a mess. And they're female judges. Females in general don't really have good judgment. And I'm saying really to be nice. And that's what Obama put into the Supreme Court. And Biden, which is Obama all over again. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. I mean, they might be cleaning house on her. And but there's a whole lot more to go.
Yeah. No, it's endless. The battle against the battle between good and evil is endless, and so we should never tire. We should never tire, nor be frustrated, nor dismayed, nor even surprised at the evil in the world.
I really appreciate Mark bringing that up because
me too.
Yeah, they're in the process of disciplining her. I'm afraid of how Fonnie Willis is going to handle that.
Yeah.
Same as that girl being murdered in Texas. I'm afraid how that judge is going to handle that. But looks like they're trying to begin a little mop up with the wokeness and the BLM thing. It seems like there's, some things are catching up to them.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's a every now and then there's like a little bit of justice, of actual real justice, I think.
A smidgen.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of a little bit catching up to them. I wouldn't say it's overwhelming. Like I said, they got a long way to go.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them. I'm like, how many of these judges I've looked at and said, how did this person become a judge? I don't know.
Doom Jesus says, how could you trust anyone under 40 to be a judge? It's a good question.
I thought there was a certain age that you...
Well, I mean, you can... Back in the olden days, you could be... They said 35 to be a president. 35 to be president. Okay. Because in the olden days, people were mature at a younger age. But the communists, I call them, sue me, Terry Strange. The communists have made us immature. Look at me, immature at old age.
And I just don't want anybody to, Mark really brought up a good point there and everything. That's not knocking down women and badgering them. We're looking at facts here.
Yeah.
Running things just like, and I'm sure Mr. Pink would know this, San Francisco. Look at that. The worst ran town in America, which used to be one of the greatest cities in America.
Wow. Yeah.
17. Did you know this? There are 17 people running against London Breed.
Oh.
See, this is what you get when you have a Negro woman from the projects run a major city. She shredded the place.
She's from the projects?
Yeah, she's from the projects.
She's so classy, though. I have this impression of her as being like somewhat... I mean, I know that she's a liberal, evil black woman, right?
Phony.
But I think of her as being somewhat classy for some reason.
Nope.
I wonder if that's propaganda that I just fell for it.
Not at all. Not at all.
Come on, she's got to be better than like Fonnie Lewis, right?
She's straight gutter.
She's better. I like her better than Letitia James. She's more attractive than Letitia James.
And the one in what's that other one that Myron Dalton?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Did you say Dalton, Illinois?
What is it? Dalton? Is that the one that's really?
Yeah, and I know that there's multiple Daltons, so I was wondering if it was Illinois or
what.
I
think it is Dalton, Illinois. Yeah.
Okay.
Outside of Chicago, she's really bad too. But yeah, there's 17 people running against London Breed.
Wow.
And look, that's
splitting
the one
vote.
Listen, she's the one. She's project, man. She's hood. This is the one that comes from the projects in the Fillmore. Her brother was the leader of the gang in the early 80s, the OC mob. out of controls.
Orange.
That's the Eddie.
Oh, that's what
Block
OC
guy.
meant? Out of controls?
Yeah, Mr. Pink knows where it is. It's the Eddie Street guys. So, okay, he's the leader of the gang. They do a high-speed chase on the Golden Gate Bridge. He throws a girl out of the car.
Whoa. This
And
is London
then
Breed's brother.
Yeah, and then the girl dies instantly because the Golden Gate Bridge doesn't have a medium.
Wow.
So she's dead. They're
Rest
on
in
a high-speed
peace.
chase. Yeah, rest in peace. He throws her out of the car. She's part of the scheme, but throws her out of the car, or she jumps. I don't know. He's in jail. She gets into office, and I think she made an attempt, but they said, no, thank you. We're not letting him out.
Well, interesting. Thank you for the inside scoop on the Bay Area, William, in California.
Yeah, we got quite the area up here, but it's been shredded. You know.
Yeah, it's a shame.
It's used to be the destination for tourism. Billions of
Yeah,
dollars.
I know. I went there in the late 90s, and it was
And they
beautiful.
don't really have too much ghetto. They really don't have really big ghetto areas, but you were talking like the early 80s when she lived in they were actual projects. They weren't like cracker box apartments like Section 8. They were actually real projects, and that's where she's originally from. It's right there in the Fillmore. Yeah.
Well, she's come a long way.
She's come a long way, and she coattailed with a lot of, and people that she like Cecil Williams, the guy from Glide Church, and with his scheme with feeding the homeless, and they take their welfare checks and buy drugs with them. That's a big game for many years in the Tenderloin district, and now they have a lot of illegals, and she's pumping her chest about 135 units that she's preparing, but half of them are going to illegal.
Terrible.
Yes.
Well, thank you, William. I got to keep it moving. Good to hear from you, man.
Take care.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
All right.
Okay. Some more super chats. We're approaching the top of the hour here. Tim Scott, the real one, not to be confused with the Rhino Tim Scott, says, bring back Jacky Cheung. Yes, Jacky Cheung. He's the one who sings various songs, including Merry Christmas, I Love You. I prefer him even over Andy Lau, to be honest, in many cases, or he has so many good songs, and has a great voice. Lin Yen Chin, a little correction on the Lin Yen Chin super chats yesterday. I had talked about, I get it, perched by the pads of my feet atop two 4x4x16 posts, balancing the purpose of the stance to refine the sense of balance and quality of nerve impulse. Their stability is your fluidity and the source of power and material might. Martial might, he said. Martial might, not material might. And material might sounds like, the physical being might. And he said Hake doesn't understand context. He was a little irritated that his autocorrect changed martial to material. These cursed devices. And he seemed irritated in a comment, and I caught that comment. Martial might. Martial is in martial arts, because Lin Yan Shin is part Chinese or something. And he says, raise your power level. Martial might, like, martial your strength. Awesome. So thank you, man. Appreciate the correction there. And yeah, I'm bad at context, especially I don't think of the word martial much, because I'm not Chinese, nor am I necessarily that much of a fighter. But don't try me. Nice. Thank you, Lin Yen Chin. Over on buymeacoffee.com/The Hake Report. Based America First, 2 coffees. Very low expectations for tonight's Trump v. Biden debate. CNN has been discussing microphone mute buttons. Oh, Lord, Trump's mic light might be green, but will it accidentally be defective? Will Biden keep labeling Trump a convicted felon? The point of the hush money case was to convict Trump in the court of public opinion. even though he's not legally convicted until sentencing in July. That's right. That's right. I heard that. I don't understand it, but I've heard it and I repeated it. Oh, marshal your martial strength. 2 different words. Oh, thank you, Irish Repub 84. Unsubstantiated rumor says classic Trump will announce the VP immediately before the debate so that CNN misses out and questions CNN sent to the Biden campaign might be disrupted. That's a unsubstantiated rumor. Reads this Base America First coffee. Couple of coffees. Burgum, Vance, Rubio keep getting mentioned. Burgum, I forget that name. I don't know if I knew that name. But Trump doesn't need any of them to help win their respective states. Senators have been proven not to make decent presidents. Burgum would be a loyalist and the others are swamp dwellers. Wow. Calling J.D. Vance a swamp dweller. And Marco Rubio? Little Marco? Really? Oof. The Trump campaign has previously challenged Biden to debates, but was declined. Then the Biden campaign tried to flip the narrative, challenging Trump to 2 unfavorable debates. Respect to Trump for attending, but he basically couldn't say no. Will anybody be surprised if it's Trump standing there with 2 moderators who hate him and Joe Biden yelling at Trump for 90 minutes? Don't think so. Yeah, Jake Tapper, not a Christian and not such a clear thinker. He has historically been hit and miss, as are many of these unchristian people. Because they're intellectual, and so they kind of try to be intellectually consistent and fair, but they just can't help it because they're mamas. And they're also being intellectual, they're blind to plain reality. They hate simple men like Trump, like JLP, like Jesus. Did you know? Probably Jake Tapper would even hate Jesus. And he just seems so nice and fair, but he's not. Interesting, huh? Pretty interesting. Shout out to Jake Tapper. I like the guy. He dated that gal that was with Clinton, Bill Clinton, according to the story, you know? He wrote a whole article. Oh, I dated that gal. What's her name? I'm blanking on her name. Monica Lewinsky. Probably not a Christian. Allegedly, she did unchristian things with this evil Bill Clinton. Anyway, that's dirty. Let's move on. Sion C bought our coffee. Thank you. She's not watching no debate. That's a double negative, Sion. Does that mean you are watching a debate? Since you're not watching no debate, you are watching a debate? Anyway, they're going to cut Trump off anyway. Wait and see. Sion, didn't you listen to JLP? But anyway, the stage is going to be for tranquilized Joe Biden. I don't think tranquilizer is what he needs exactly, but I get your drift. Then they probably did something to him in order to go into a debate, probably injected and syringe emoji and needles. Ooh. That's half the reason I may or may not have gotten the smacks. I don't want to get shots, but I don't disclose whether I got the schmack scene. They probably injected him, speculates Sion, and I disavow this, with something that can boost his energy, fry his brain or something. You mean like water? Water can boost your energy. Thank you, Sion. Re-Nesio bought a coffee. Hake, I heard that napkins won't be available after July. Wow, I went to a hardware store and ordered a hot dog. Maybe you have to ask for them. I believe he's talking about Los Angeles local law. I'm shaking my head. But yeah, I mean, they got the plastic straws. They tried to get rid of the plastic straws. Some of them are still selling them or giving them to you. They just give them. Maybe I shouldn't say this. Don't dox the fast food joints where I sometimes go, but sometimes those people seem to give you a straw without you having to ask because they know that you want a straw. Give me a break. Of course I want a straw. I do save straws though, because I am a reuser and also I don't litter. Not on purpose, anyway. I pick up litter. They're getting rid of napkins, too, now. I remember they said, oh, get when you went to the grocery store, they'd say paper or plastic. Oh, get plastic, save a tree. Like a paper is a whole tree, paper bag is a whole tree. Give me a break. And now they say, oh, don't use plastic. Those plastics just fills up the landfills. And it doesn't break down as well as paper. Paper is more recyclable. Oh, well, what are we supposed to do? It's everything. They always changing their minds. I don't like those brittle straws that don't work. They break down. Anyway, thank you guys for the support. Appreciate that. That's cool. Stephen in Maryland was on hold yesterday. I wasn't able to get to him. He hung up too, by the way. Stephen in Maryland, thank you for calling back today. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing great.
Cool.
Till I heard that cool Willie on the phone talking just a little while ago.
You can't say that word.
Yes, I can.
Oh. But I don't think you're supposed to say that word.
C-O-O-N. Say what?
I don't think you're supposed to say that word.
You can say that word. I don't
Well,
use the
I
word
can
on
say
my
it?
tongue. Sure, you can say
I
it.
feel like it's racist.
It's not racist.
Oh.
'Cause
Okay,
the
well,
cool
anyway,
color.
why don't you like William?
Willie. I don't like Willie because he talked about this lady came out of the projects. At least she got out the projects and she got a law degree. What has he got?
He talks all the time about what he got. He got property and selling, renting stuff out, and he's doing way better. He's actually doing good in the world, allegedly, maybe. Whereas this evil woman is running SF into the ground, like her predecessors before her, maybe even worse.
She has a judgeship.
A judgeship?
Yes.
What's that mean?
She's a judge.
Wait, London Breed is a judge?
She got what?
London Breed?
I'm talking about that judge he's talking about, that black judge he's talking about from the projects.
Oh, no, London Breed is the mayor, right? I thought he was saying London Breed, the mayor from San Francisco, is from the projects. But anyway, it doesn't, I mean, the reality is, culturally, she still has the black, dark, evil mindset.
No, she doesn't.
Yeah, she's a Democrat. Gotcha.
Well, that's just a party. I'm not a Democrat, no Republican. I'm an independent.
Do you mean
So I
Hidalgo?
can go both ways.
Do you mean the county judge with the Hidalgo, his Hispanic gal, immigrant?
Is she Hispanic? I don't know what she's done.
Okay.
All I know is
there's various judges
and
there's various judges and lawyers and mayors who are females and POCs, WOCs, women of color. And most of the time, even if they're Republican, they're lame and pathetic and evil.
I want to know why you guys don't like women.
I like women, just not as judges or mayors or congressmen.
Why can't they be judges?
Because they don't have good judgment.
They pick out men, don't they, when they get married?
Yeah, but sometimes they don't pick good men. I don't know.
Well, they don't pick out good men.
Yeah. Just because you're not gay doesn't mean you have good judgment.
Well, she's not gay.
Yeah. Are you implying that they would they pick a woman to be? I mean, there's lesbians in office too. I think they're governesses and attorneys general.
Wait a minute. How can you call a woman a lesbian but you can't use the F word for men?
The F word, because the F word is more. I don't know. They decided that the F word is a bad word and you can't say it. I don't know. Whatever. That's their word. Only they can say it. It's kind of like the N word for blacks. Only the blacks can say the N word. Only F words can say the F word. So you better not say it, or else you are one.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I just call them that. Period.
Nice. Yeah, I know. Good old days. You're 87 years old, so you get a break.
That's right.
Yeah, but don't say it on my show.
I hate them dudes.
Oh, that's not good. You become like what you hate, you know.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do.
No.
Yeah, you are. You're very much like that. You're all perverted. You're very pervy.
Never love
You're
man.
pervy. You're pervy. They don't love a man either. They don't know what love is. They're pervy just like you're pervy. Pervy is short for perverted.
I know.
Because you're always bringing up.
I tell you, I'm not that slow. I may be old, but I ain't slow.
No, I like that about you.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah.
that Willie ought to stop that. Really.
Well, that's your opinion. That's fine. Yeah, I don't mind a little.
Of course, you from the projects. That make you a bad person.
Well, I'll tell you what. He and Mark, in my opinion, they both say stuff purposely to be inflammatory. That's why they say stuff like that. Like, they're from the projects or piece of trash. They say it with a hint of vindictiveness. Maybe he's so sick of a lot of black women that he'll be very, like, he harbors some hatred in his heart for black women because of their being so evil. But that's not a reason to hate them. What's that?
He couldn't get one. They turned him off.
Well, you don't know that. But that's all speculation on your part. But that's for him to check out. If he has an issue, then he has an issue where he has to check his hatred. But you got to check your hatred, and so everybody has to check their hatred.
I don't hate nobody.
Do you hate William? Is that why you call him Willie?
Does he sound like a Willie?
You said you don't like him. That means you hate him.
No, I didn't say I didn't hate him.
No, you said you don't like him.
I didn't say that either.
Oh.
I just say he's a coon.
Whoa! That's a. Is that love?
Yeah, that's love.
These people. Now I know you're lying.
I need to get a whatever, you know.
Oh, you're imitating his voice.
Some woman done choked me. I can't talk now. The black woman at that.
That's his William impression. Blacks are entertaining. You're very entertaining, Stephen, in Maryland.
Yeah. Something else I was going to ask you, but I forgot. Say that's what you get when you get old.
No, I mean, I don't know. I forget stuff too.
Well.
Fair enough. Possible.
But like Mark was saying about these kids being killed by these Mexicans.
Yeah.
Does he ever remember Ted Bundy? What did Ted Bundy do?
He killed some women, I heard.
And one 12-year-old.
Oh, really?
That's how he got that last death penalty called on him.
Rest in peace, Ted Bundy.
Well, he's burning. At least they cremated him. Gave him a head start anyway. They cremated his body.
Well, he may have gone to heaven. He may have repented. You don't know.
I doubt it. Seriously.
Well, who knows?
Killed a 12-year-old older.
What's the difference between killing a child and killing an adult? Like, why is killing a child so much worse than killing an adult?
A child is innocent. Just innocent, you know. He hasn't been here that long.
A 12-year-old's not innocent.
Sure she is.
But I mean, I know, but the adults whom he killed, they, if he seduced them, shame on them for being seduced. But if he just kidnapped them, I mean, if they were unaware, shame on them for being unaware. But yeah, the adults are innocent too. They didn't deserve to get killed. It's not right to. It's not right to kill. Yeah.
Nobody deserves to get killed.
So I'm not for all this. Falling all over ourselves because Israel is killing children. Give me a break.
Well, that's what Mark just said. Remember?
No.
They killed 2 little kids.
Oh yeah. Fair point. Yeah, Mark is emotional.
He needs to stop.
Yeah. Don't we all?
I hope they get the needle too, just like everybody else. They killed 2 kids. Step on the table, give them the needle, be all over with.
So you support capital punishment?
Of course.
Nice. See, I knew that there's a little bit of manliness in you.
That's all right. You take a life, you're supposed to lose yours.
I definitely do believe in the death penalty.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'll be helping put them in there. I got a couple needles over here.
But we have an injustice pollution in our so-called justice system. So I'm a little bit iffy on it. Because they want to kill poor Dylan Roof when he was just mad that the blacks are raping the whites sometimes, and that the media is not honest about it, and he wanted to start a race war. But they want to go after him for a hate crime death penalty.
That's right, because he went in church and killed 9 black people in a church.
Yeah, it's wrong. It was wrong what he did, but they don't want to execute him for murder. They want to execute him for racism, which is stupid.
They want to execute him for what?
For racism, hate crime.
He didn't rape those people.
No, racism.
Oh.
They want to execute him for being racially motivated in his murder. Had it just been regular murder, they won't kill him. And I'm not for that. They should kill him if it's going to be for murder, then yeah, death penalty. But if it's going to be for racially motivated murder, that's dumb.
You mean, in other words, just because he's a white man and he married black, he killed 9 black people.
Yeah, on
black
purpose.
Old people in a church.
Yeah.
That's not a hate crime.
No, we should
for that one.
No, we should definitely not have hate crimes. That's just political division, encouraging hatred between blacks and whites and everybody else.
Well, if a white person killed another person, they must hate him.
Right, exactly. So why are we having this? Why are we designating some crimes done out of hatred, hate crimes, and other crimes done out of hatred, not hate crimes? It's stupid.
That's just different races.
It doesn't matter. That's just they're all human beings. Why don't we just say, oh, he did it because he hated and he was wrong for hating, and not
no. See, this is America. This is a racist country.
Right. So why don't we just let them be racist? Don't we have a freedom to be racist?
No, we don't have no freedom to be racist.
Yeah, we do. We just don't have freedom to murder. Murder's wrong. But racism is fine.
Guy named Azzmador. Like this guy named Azzmador. What did he do?
Nothing that I'm aware of. He just protested, and they tried to go after him for it. It's ridiculous, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't know what the supposed felony was. He didn't show up to court when he was subpoenaed. Maybe that's his felony after a while. I don't know.
So what happened to him?
He had a heart attack and he died. Rest in peace.
Oh.
At the tender age of 57, man. That's wild.
Wow.
Gone too soon.
I guess that's what you get for being hateful.
Well, I don't think it was hateful at that point anymore. I think
the heart worked on you.
He forgave. He listened to Jesse Lee Peterson, the pastor who preaches forgiveness and letting go of anger.
Jesse Peterson?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Jesse Peterson.
Oh, yes.
Boy. Now, that's a case unto itself.
A man of peace.
I want to know, is he a preacher or what?
He is a preacher and then some.
I don't think he's a preacher. I don't think he's been ordained by nobody. He just took that name up to get off of taxes, paying taxes.
Do you have to be ordained? No, it had nothing to do with taxes. Do you have to be ordained to be a preacher? You have to be declared a preacher by man or by God?
I thought it was by man.
Oh, are you a Christian?
Because anybody can be ordained. I'm ordained.
You're ordained?
No, I was saying, anybody can come and say, I was ordained. God spoke to me yesterday and said, you do this and you do that.
You're right.
It's my word.
Yeah, but
I met him in a field one day.
As Joel Friday rightly says, the spirit within us confirms that the spirit in Jesse, the words that he speak are true, so we can see the truth of what he's saying as the truth. And it's like, oh yeah, that's what a preacher does, is speak the truth, and the spirit
Jesse
confirms that he's telling the truth. So we can see that he's a man of truth. You can't see that he's a man of truth because you're too busy judging.
Is not a man of truth.
Oh.
He gonna be down there with me shoveling coal when I leave here.
That's funny, man.
Getting it nice and hot.
Well, I gotta run, man. Nice talking with you.
Yeah, send Jesse down there with me when I go.
That's terrible. I disavow. All right, bye, Stephen. Take care. Bye. He's amusing to me. Emmanuel, God with us, in Fresno, California. I've been to Fresno. I saw Julieta Venegas in Fresno, the Tijuana singer. What's up, Emmanuel?
What's up, Hank? How you doing?
Oh, it's Manuel, not Emmanuel. It's Manuel. Yeah, Manuel.
Whenever they ask my name, I always go first. Like.
Oh yeah.
My bad.
No problem. No, you're fine. Go ahead.
That yesterday you guys were talking about that Fresh and Fit.
Oh yeah, on the JLP show we covered a segment of this Competitors podcast about women are sex objects, men are success objects, and women should make themselves sexually available. Sorry, kids and ladies. Yeah. What's your take?
So I watched that show quite a bit, like a lot.
Nice.
Because Mondays, they got a Money Monday thing, so they like teach you finance, blah, 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 all this other stuff.
Yeah. You're a successful man. Aren't you financially successful without anybody on the internet?
Yeah.
Help?
Yeah,
nice.
but the thing with them, like I didn't know nothing about crypto, and dang, I'm so glad I got involved in that.
So what's your take on this on our segment?
You guys are right.
Oh, okay.
Not to sound racist, but my biggest thing is I don't trust Muslims, and he's a Muslim.
Oh yeah. He is Muslim, huh? A lot of Muslims
Yeah.
sound like they're based on being men and being moral and stuff like that. But
they are very based.
Yeah, on those issues. But they go a little far and they're not a... Anyway, what's your take? Go ahead.
The thing with them is like they're good with when it comes to base and what the order is, as in like the man leads. And so I get where they come from business. They come from everything from a business aspect. And your relationship isn't a business. Like, yeah, it makes sense to run it as a business, like there's a chain of order, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But the whole sexual thing and all that, it's like, to me, I used to be that way.
Left the morality out of it and just had the S with women and used them for that?
I don't want to, toot my own horn, but I've been with a lot of people, a lot of women.
Yeah.
And I've never been faithful out of I'm 34 now, so whenever I started messing around, 30-something years, I've never been faithful to a woman, even after my accident in a wheelchair. I was still not faithful.
Yeah. That's
and
wild.
So, things change. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I'll sit down one day, dude. I'll tell you some crazy stories. You're gonna be like, you little devil, you. So, a lot of their points made sense to me, but now that things change in my life and how I've listened to you guys for, I think probably 3 years now. They one time I was listening to him talk, and he said if I ever had any problems with my daughter, I would send her to my mother and make her live with my mother. And so what I'm starting to notice is Muslims do not see, I see it like you guys, that evil comes from the woman.
Yeah.
They don't see that.
Okay,
so now,
yeah.
Every time I look at a woman, oh man, if I cheat on them, no matter what, because they say just cheat on them or do this and do that, they're going to hold on to that and they're going to take it out on your children.
Oh, yeah.
Behind your back, and you won't even notice it because to them, their business. They run the business. He doesn't even want to live at home with his wife and kids.
Wow.
They want 2 separate houses. That's like a Muslim thing. They want to multiply as many as possible, multiple families. And what that causes is just more headache because now you're not overwatching your children or getting a report on them. And so you're just breeding evil. And that's why, they have their aspect is where I feel they're wrong is that you're turning a blind eye to your children and taking advantage of other women. Not taking advantage is the wrong word, but you know what I mean? You're not seeing where the evil's coming from.
Right.
And I feel like you guys explain that perfectly. You guys show, dude, this is where the evil's coming from. I, without a doubt, believe it. I go to people's houses and I see things the way the mother treats certain children. Oh man, I've had to cut off a lot of people now. And I see what Jesse means is you think you're something when you're not. I have these ideas with these people and friends, they're not even my friends. because I know I'm going to have to let them go because they don't see things the way I see, and I can't sit there and help them. Like, I want to jump in and get involved in things, and I just know I can't.
Definitely not.
It never works.
Yeah. You have to let people live their life, or even if they're not really living a real life. That's interesting, man. It reminds me of what you said about the Muslims with the polygamy and not being involved in their children and just leaving the children to the mothers. That reminds me of what I read in The Antidote, JLP's book, Healing America from the Poison of Hate, Blame, and Victimhood. At one point, he mentions the Muslims and their polygamy. That's kind of like what we have with step-parents. A child should not have to compete with a step-parent for the real parent's attention, the real mother or father's attention. But all the different wives or women that you're with are competing for the man's attention, and the children get left out of it. And as you pointed out, the father is not there to check on the children. He's just being selfish.
Right.
Interesting,
That's why they say
man.
the Middle East or a lot of those countries that practice polygamy or go in that form are very unstable countries.
Wow.
The stability is not the same. You see America and the UK, like, their stability that built the civilization.
Right.
You go and study stuff over there, it's still tribal mentality, sections of groups, all separated. Well, if you have 5 different families, you're creating a tribe almost, you know?
Yeah. Wow.
So to me, it's a complete mess. Like, I see it now. Like, I remember I wanted to sleep with thousands of women. Now I'm like, whoa, there's no way I can do that. Like, I know for sure that a woman will never, ever, ever let it go. And they will subliminally or in the back of their mind take it out on the child.
They'll even accuse you or think that you're cheating if you're not. So you're planting even more ideas in their heads. And they may act like they're fine with it, but women,
they're not,
as human beings are evil. And they're not going to understand or treat it in the right way. It's crazy. Wow.
Right. And who's the easier vessel to pick on, the child or the father that's paying all your bills?
The child. Yep. Evil goes for the weaker vessel to corrupt it.
Right.
Turn it against the stronger.
Have you ever looked up that Travis Kelce thing? The heck?
Say again?
You haven't looked up the Travis Kelce thing yet?
No, I haven't. Oh, yeah, you're the one who told me about you gave me that super chat saying Travis Kelce has prior girlfriends and they're black women. So this is
the chocolate.
Maybe he repented and maybe he's on a
no.
Travis Kelce redemption arc. He's going to Taylor Swift. Next he'll be they'll turn Christian and conservative and support Trump.
No, he's gonna be dating Ice Spice next. Watch.
Oh Lord, Ice Spice. Who the heck is Ice Spice? Said Trump. He didn't say heck.
To each their own, whatever, like preference is preference. But like for me, the way I just see things is if you're going one way and then all of a sudden it's the complete opposite.
Yeah.
And you see how he dresses. He don't dress like.
Right, he dresses black. That's so funny that I picked up that he's all into black stuff. And I had no idea that his ex-girlfriends were black. T Swift is sort of black friendly too. She doesn't come off as black though. Like it hasn't.
Who?
T Swift, Taylor Swift. But she's gotten along with blacks a lot. Like she likes Kanye, right? Kind of.
No, they got into it, I thought.
They got into it and then they made up. Well, when you get into it with somebody, you kind of like them too, sort of. Maybe not. But anyway, I mean, she's in the entertainment world. She's all believes in this racism stuff. So there are a couple of liberals who are basically simps for the blacks. But him even worse. Man.
Watch, I'm telling you, he's going to change his last name to Swift.
Oh no, I don't think so. But
really?
I'll. But you may be right. I will eat my hat on the show, metaphorically speaking.
Look at their initials. It's either going to be TK and TK or TS and TS.
Oh no,
bigger face.
Hmm.
She ain't going to change her last name. Come on.
That's true. I do not see her calling herself Taylor Kelce or Kelce.
Exactly. Then she'd have to rebrand.
Terrible. The reason,
Kelce's got a
if it's
name.
distracting to listeners, just a side note, if it's distracting to listeners that I keep saying Kelce, it's because it's really supposed to be pronounced Kelce.
Right.
Anyway, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm good. I'll let you get going.
I appreciate it, Manuel. I'm glad you brought that up. Thanks, man. And thanks for the support, as always. Take care.
If you want to put a bet on that, if they change his name, I wouldn't mind a Tar Baby shirt.
Okay. Which kind of shirt?
I'm kidding. I'm just
okay. All right. Good to hear from you, man. All right. Bye. That's funny, man. Well, we're near the bottom of the hour here. Let me double check for any super chats. Oh, yes. Popcorn's Thump Keg bought a coffee. It's somewhat cringe, and he means cringe-worthy, / embarrassing to hear William use the term, quote-unquote, Negro. He didn't do that until Mark started using the term antagonistically when he called in, says Popcorn's Thump Keg. He continues, I guess it's his way to say, hey, I'm on your side. Be yourself, William. It's embarrassing. You grew up listening to the Spinners, the Temptations, and the OJs like my parents. You don't call people Negroes day to day. Stop. It's like a cringe type of virtue signaling. So says Popcorn's Thump Keg. And he may or may not be right. I did notice that he said Negroes. And I don't remember him saying that. And he may have picked it up from Mark, because Mark says that. I disagree that Mark says Negroes antagonistically. You guys think he does. You're not the only person who thinks so. There's another caller who accused Mark of using it antagonistically. He does say stuff antagonistically. So I understand your position, but Negroes is just how I think that he's just calls them. I don't even think he's thinking about it. He will say swine and scum and stuff like that, and you can hear the disdain and the hatred in his voice. But I don't think that he says it antagonistically. It's interesting that you're embarrassed by William doing it. Like, you're embarrassed for him. I'm not thinking that. Now, there is a people-pleasing nature that sometimes possesses a person, and you can hear it possesses people. Like, they'll change how they are around somebody or because of somebody. And that may be. That you may or may not be right. William can check himself if that's accurate or not. And he doesn't have to. He doesn't need to defend himself on this issue. Just as Mark doesn't have to defend himself on our accusation, because I too am accusing him of using some terms antagonistically. I disagree about the Negro thing. I think that's just how he talks. Interesting though. But it's interesting that you're embarrassed. It's as if you are identifying with William on some level. Because I wasn't necessarily embarrassed or judging him on that. Just have like a suspend judgment. And also, it's almost like a woman accusation. But women and us, we corrupt people, can kind of see corruption in one another. So he may be right. He may be right, but I don't know. But whatever. Thank you, Popcorn's Thump Cake. Very interesting coffee as usual, man. Very interesting. I like it because it's human nature. I don't like the picking on one another, but I don't think that Popcorn's Thump Cake is trying to pick on William. He's just commenting on something that just, it clearly affected him enough to write 2 paragraphs, or at least a few sentences. It's interesting. It's interesting. But sometimes we just naturally pick up words from one another, and it's not necessarily bad. People accuse me of copying Jesse Lee, and I do a little bit, but people are like overly judgmental about it to where they're taking it way further than it really is. So, just something, watch your own judgments as well. Nice. Okay. Thanks again, Popcorn Stumpcake. That's cool. Okay. Lisa in Nashville, Tennessee, is on the line. Lisa, are you there?
I am. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Cool. Good to hear from you. Is this your first time calling Hake?
It is indeed.
Welcome. What an honor.
Well, thank you.
And you sound Southern.
I am. Just a little bit of a Southern girl.
Right on. I like the South, the beautiful South.
It is. Tennessee is the greatest.
I've been there, too. I had some family friends who moved out there. A couple of them have died, but one of them remains, and I visited years ago as a kid to like rural area outside of Memphis, pond and everything. It was cool. It's fun.
Yeah, well, thank you. You should visit more. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So I heard your comments about women, and I kind of wanted to talk a little about that.
All right. Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay.
What did I say about women in short?
In short, you said that women don't need to be in ruling places in the government or judges or things of that nature.
Yep.
And surprisingly, for an older black woman from the South, I agree.
Oh, you're black? You're a black woman? I did not pick that up.
I'm a black woman.
Nice.
Yeah.
And why is that surprising for an older black woman in the South to agree with me on that?
Well, because most older black women in the South are liberals. They want, they agree with everything that's wrong.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah. And I'm one of the few that don't agree with all those things. I think we tend to overstep a lot of times. Not that I think women should be back in the house, in the barefoot and pregnant.
Uh-huh.
But I do think one of the most difficult things for women is when they decided to liberate themselves from men, and now they have to clean, cook, have the children, go to work, come home, do the nasty, and still have to carry all that weight. So before, at least you could stay at home and say, hey, hubby, go out and deal with it. So we're stuck.
It kind of reminds me of what I was describing with Azzmador's situation. The ladies have complicated their lives. And with two-income homes being the norm, prices have gone up because people with two incomes, you can afford more. So they raise prices because you can afford it. So it puts more pressure on people who want to do it the right way because prices are higher. It has added to inflation, in my opinion. And I think that's a lot of people's opinions. That's interesting. People have complicated their lives and unnecessarily. They don't realize how much more at peace they could be, even in a physical, practical sense, had they been doing it the right way. That's cool. And there is a time to be barefoot and pregnant for a while during the childbirthing years.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But the children are the ones that suffer.
True. And the women and children are left to be taken care of by the government. They're more and more reliant on the government to
That's true too.
Intervene, and the government has worse intentions and worse effects than most men. I know that men have been weak and wrong throughout time and evil, but the government is only adding to that problem, to the evil.
That is true.
Yeah.
Especially in the minorities, with the minorities, because we tend to be the ones that agree with Planned Parenthood and agree with having children on our own. And,
Yeah.
you know, once they were, we just tend to follow that.
So true.
But I also think that we can bring about change if we begin to listen to the right people and open our eyes to the things that are really happening around us, and just not take everything that we hear, especially in the media, just don't take everything that we hear as the truth, but begin to investigate a little bit more. I think we would be in a much better place.
Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah, think for yourself. Stop just listening to experts, as JLP says so commonly. There is simple wisdom within, and simple wisdom from simple men like Trump, JLP, Jesus, that can really benefit our lives rather than all this mess. Cool. Nice. You say older, and we're not supposed to ask a lady her age, but are you a boomer or a Gen Xer or older than a boomer? Out of curiosity. You don't have to answer.
I'm a boomer.
Nice. Based.
Yes.
I love boomers.
Me too.
Yeah.
We're the best. We came in when technology was just beginning to explode, so we know how to utilize it, but at the same time, we were here before all of the people decided to switch genders and recreate everything, so we're also wise.
Yeah, you knew that there was another way. Very true.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Well, I have to go. I really want to stay on here longer. There's so many things I want to say to you, but
no problem.
Maybe I'll call again and get a chance to talk.
That sounds great. Thank you again, Lisa in Nashville. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. A super chat from Steve Strack. 10 coffees, very generous. Hake, what do you think about signs, wonders, and miracles? Do you think the gifts of the Holy Spirit ceased or continued to be given to Christians today? Okay, so signs, wonders, and miracles. As a kid, I took those at face value, and today, I don't really think about them. It's fine that they happened, or it's fine if they were tall tales meant to, because sometimes I don't know how the writers of those times wrote about things. They wrote about, was Paul Bunyan a real man? There might have been a real Paul Bunyan, but there may be tall tales about him. So maybe it was tall tales and there was spiritual metaphors or something. I don't know. But I don't know nor care. It's kind of like slavery. I don't think about it. But because what matters to me is my life and the life lessons in the Bible that Jesus talked about and that others wrote about in the Bible are what ring true to me, that resonate with that woman didn't want to say resonate. Christina, who called the Jesse Lee Peterson show in the 3rd hour, I think, today. The 27th of June, 2024 AD, Thursday. So I just like that stuff that's pertinent to my life. And those are real wonders and miracles sometimes. Like Jesus said, there's more angels in heaven singing that somebody entered the kingdom than somebody coming back from the dead or whatever. somebody coming back from the dead, people's hearts are so hard that they won't believe it. They don't even believe it if a prophet came and told them direct from God. But anyway, do you think the gifts of the Holy Spirit ceased or continue to be given to Christians today? Well, I know the fruit of the Spirit, fruits of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, patience, that stuff continues today because you see examples of people with those fruits. Rarely, but you see them. The gifts of the Spirit, like tongues and stuff, I don't know. I don't think of them as having ceased or ever happened or not happened or whatever. It's kind of like the signs, wonders, and miracles. I just don't think about them. Atheists get caught up on those things. And I'm like, why do you get caught up on that? Like, that's shallow. What does that have to do with your life? Just take the lessons and you can see the lessons are true. That's the point of God's message, right? Is your life. Not believing or not believing that some miracle happened or not. You weren't there. So, and the what speaking in tongues meant or means. So that's my take. Hopefully that's enough of an answer for you, Steve Strack. Appreciate that. I think that people get the wrong idea. People read something and get a crazy cockamamie idea, Isn't that so true? And then they pick up snakes. And some of them get bit and die. Because they say, they will pick up serpents and not be... And so they purposely pick up snakes, testing God. As Jesus said, Jesus didn't listen to Satan, saying Satan said, or the devil tempted him, saying, if you're the Son of God, cast yourself down, for it is written, he will not let your foot strike against a rock. And then Jesus is like, don't test God. Meaning don't tempt him by jumping off a cliff. If God, if you're real, save me as I jump off this cliff. Sorry, kids, ladies, everybody. If God is real, why did he let that female cop say, taser, 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 blam, blam, blam? Oops. I don't know why I thought of that. So I think people get crazy ideas thinking, the atheists have crazy ideas. Like they want to see a miracle from God. Like some supernatural event that defies gravity or defies whatever, our understanding of physics and stuff. Like that's going to make God seem real to you. That's kind of why I like a little bit CJ in Texas's calls about awareness. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Yes, I do, Tennis Shoe. They are barking up the wrong tree and looking to some crazy cockamamie idea of God rather than God within. He made you. Don't you think he put some... God gives good sense to the godly. A spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. But most of us do not have a sound mind. Thank you, Steve Strack. Another quick super chat from Popcorn Stump Keg. Of course Mark is being antagonistic. You said he uses it in normal speech. Do you honestly think that when Mark goes out to eat and the manager asks him which waiter was serving him, he's going to say, that Negro woman over there? Be for real. He might. I don't know. What, you think he would say that African American or that black woman? Be for real. He says it on your show because he's comfortable doing it. What are you trying to imply about my show? That I allow a little bit of a semblance of a freedom of speech? No. I don't. That doesn't mean anything. He may say that Negro woman. There's a lot of old timer people, and he's sort of an old timer man who say Negro. And how is that antagonistic? Are you antagonized by that word? I know that some people are. So you might be right. But you're too sure of yourself, Popcorn Stump Cake. You're too sure of yourself on this issue. I'm going to nitpick. He might. Which waiter? That Negro woman over there? Maybe. I mean, isn't it kind of refreshing? I don't think of that as an antagonistic. That's just kind of bringing back the original language, you know? Because do you know anybody who in normal conversation says African American? I do. And it's like always shocking to me because I'm not used to anybody talking that way. African Americans. But they were trained and brainwashed, and it's kind of refreshing. I really don't think that it's. You can say he's saying it on my show, maybe, but you're speculating. But there's something to. You can see that I'm like that. I like to use female congressman. I don't like to use congresswoman or congressperson. I like to say stiff man syndrome, not stiff person syndrome, because throughout my life, I've seen them changing the language to be more feminist, and that's evil. And him too has seen, so you could call it reactionary because we're reactionary, Mark and I. Anyway, I'm going too much on this. Taking back the language. We're just being word Nazis. Not the Nazi, just word. Anyway, stop it. Mr. Pink out of San Francisco, California, on the line. What's up, Mr. Pink? How you doing?
How you doing, Mr. Hake?
Doing well, thank you.
I just wanted to see if you got your snake puppet ready.
Oh, yeah. Cause you. Oh, Lord. Why do I need my snake puppet ready?
Oh, good morning, James. It's good to hear from you this morning. I am calling in from Phoenix, Arizona, and I would just like to maybe see if we can agree on some topics today.
Isn't that nice? Joe, we love Joe from Phoenix if we love anybody. That's your impression of the snake. It's the Hake and Snake show. Hey, Joe, nice to hear from you.
I just wanted to say that, you and Jesse and Himmler are per capita the angry ones, and you are the communist. I'm not a communist. I am actually a true conservative.
This is not a best impression, but it's a funny and amusing impression that reminds me of like an old school white. And you use per capita, that's my word, but that's funny still, because it's still in the context of the Hake report, the Hake and Snake show.
3.567% of my impression is based on comic interpretation of Joe from Phoenix.
Nice, man. It's great to hear from you, Mr. Pink, out of San Francisco.
All right, brother.
I appreciate you, man. Have a good one. Take care. Oh, you got me with the click. Oh. I'm sure Joe was amused. Bro, what's that accent? Wait a minute, that's not really Joe? Asks Kevin Howe. Nice. Okay, so... Oh, let me tell you this quick sad story that I didn't let myself think about before. Go into the other folder and PDF gay veterinarian folder. This is terrible. Maybe I should skip it. PDF gay veterinarian. I didn't let myself think this because they had trained us and traumatized us not to allow ourselves to think this about them, the gays. But this guy, Chicago veterinarian facing child schmorn charges, planned to S-word Julie assault. This is kind of gross, kids and ladies and gentlemen. An unborn child, so say prosecutors. This is from March. I've been holding on to this for 3 months because I've kind of been dragging my feet about showing it to you. Chicago veterinarian. That's somebody who works on dogs, pets, animals. Warning, this story may be disturbing to some readers. Read at your own discretion. And so, like, I look down and this person stated in Telegram conversations that he and his husband were expecting a child by a California surrogate this spring. And that he planned Telegram. and that he plans, show the number 2. Not as in actual number 2, but as in this screenshot. He planned to S-wordly assault this child after its birth, according to a complaint. The FBI did a search warrant. This is like PR for the FBI. They're my FBI contacts. FBI, stop shutting down Alex Jones, my competitor, and shut down these PDFs so that you get good PR so you can get away with doing other evil things on the surreptitiously. Anyway, they found baby stuff, and it's crazy, huh? And he said that he allegedly described giving nieces and nephews double an adult dose of Benadryl before S-word assaulting them. Terrible stuff, huh? He said he preferred children in the single digits, according to the FBI. Terrible, huh? That's like really young. That's actual children. He said on Telegram he was married to a non-perv. So he called himself a perv, as in he was into kids. Terrible stuff, huh? Disgusting. Anyway, I just wanted to show that because that does happen. Wow. And I didn't used to for a while, they kind of overreact so badly, the gays, when you link the S word to children to them, and the media does too. They don't let you link that, but it is common. It's more common with them per capita. So what a mess. Let's do Dogwood in the Line of Fire, Hassan. I think I can do that. Yeah. Let's do Dogwood in the Line of Fire. Adios, America. Joel Friday TV coming up next. This is a nice punk rock Christian song about abortion. Bye. It's Christian, guys. Dogwood. They were friends with POD, by the way. And NIV. No innocent victim.
I didn't die a natural death. My life was stolen from me before my first natural breath. Casualty of circumstance. Someone made a decision for me. They never gave me a chance. Where's that first birthday I hope for? The candle might blow out. No one will ever hear me laugh or ever see me smile. I would have made my parents proud. They weren't much more than children themselves.
The parents, not children.
I felt her honest reasons. Though she said it would further her health, I'm on the inside looking out.
It is nice.
Please don't just give up. At least give me to someone else. Where's that first birthday I hope for?
You can stop singing now.
Candlelight blow out. No one will ever hear me laugh or ever see me smile. I would have made my parents proud. Adoption, abortion, am I responsible for your action? My birth is death that made the choice to let me go. Disregard human value. What if your parents did this to you? A victim of circumstance. This was our last chance. 11 weeks old today.
High school, baby.
My mother made a pro-choice, a purchase I would have to pay. They found a price on my life.
You sing for you, Hake.
Consider this my farewell, my goodbye.
This music
Where's
sticks.
that first birthday I hope for? The candlelight blow out. No one will ever hear me laugh or ever see me smile. I would have made laugh or ever see me smile, I would have made my parents proud.
Adios, America. Joel Friday TV coming up next. Bye.